Hello and welcome back to Kofa National Wildlife Refuge out here in the southwestern corner of Arizona. Now today we are in the northeasternmost portion of the refuge, pretty far deep in the Little Horn Mountains, about 25 miles off of I-10. And way out here in the middle of nowhere sits the site of the Hovatter Homestead, which was the home of the Hovatter family from 1951 to 1974. Now, Ray and Barbara moved to this area in the 50s, primarily for mining. Ray owned quite a few mining claims in the area, and he was after mostly manganese, which is kind of a metallic mineral, but he ended up finding some other stuff too. But some of the ore would be milled on site before sending it off to Wendon, which is a town a little bit to the north. They had a pretty simple lifestyle. They lived in a couple of trailers and had some sheds and had to get water from a nearby well and then haul it to the site of their home. Now, Barbara, Ray's wife, was an avid botanist, and she is the one who is responsible for transplanting all of the saguaros in a row that lined the driveway at the time. So she did all that, and she also had several little sections of gardens, which you can still see today by all of the rock markers, which she found in the surrounding desert, and sometimes she labeled them, and then she placed them all by hand in different configurations. So at one point there was probably some different gardens and different plants growing on site, and she was known to collect different wildlife specimens too from the desert floor. The Hovatter family had 3 kids, all girls: Sandra, Lindsay, and Jeanette, and they lived out here for quite a long time. But tragedy struck on May 18th, 1968. Ray and one of his daughters were working on a newly installed propane cylinder, and as another daughter approached them, she was carrying a lit lantern, and it caused an explosion. And it was actually so bad that they had to leave the homestead and drive to Phoenix to get medical attention. And about 6 weeks later, Lindsay ended up dying from the wounds from the explosion. And she's buried up on a small hill near the homestead site. Barbara and the other 2 girls stayed in Phoenix, while Ray moved back out to salvage what was left of the homestead. He ended up living there for a few more years without Barbara, and he died of pneumonia in 1974. He was buried next to Lindsay up on the hill right near the homestead. And then when Barbara died later on, I believe in the 90s, she had her ashes scattered on top of the 2 graves. So a very unique site, very far out in the desert. Again, not much of it remains. You can see the cactus-lined driveway, some of the garden outlines, and there's little bits and pieces of remnants scattered around the homestead site, but not much remains. Of course, there are the graves up on the hillside, where part of the Hovatter family is laid to rest. So definitely one of the more weird historical sites. You really wouldn't expect to find it way out here in the middle of nowhere in Kofa. So if you're in the area, definitely check it out. The trail is mostly easy, and then the last few miles get pretty rocky and rutted out, so you're going to need 4-wheel drive and a high clearance vehicle for sure. But that is all from Hovatter Homestead. We're going to head back up to I-10, and we will see you guys on the next adventure. Thank you as always for watching, and make sure to check the links in the description for more history on the area, as well as more information on the trail. So thank you guys.